The temple world of Ethel was a masterpiece of serenity, its crystalline spires piercing clouds of violet mist. For millennia, the gentle giants known as the Vex had lived in peace, their philosophy centered on harmony and the sanctity of all life. Weapons were forbidden, their very existence a sacrilege. Yet here stood Kale, a human veteran of a dozen wars, his calloused hands resting on his knees as he addressed a circle of towering Vex recruits. Their massive, obsidian eyes regarded him with curiosity, their six-fingered hands folded neatly in their laps. "Your elders tell you combat is a sin," Kale said, his voice a low rasp. "They're wrong. Combat is the only thing that keeps the darkness at bay." The Vex shifted, their massive bodies radiating unease. They had never understood humanity's capacity for violence, nor its necessity. Kale leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. "I'm here to teach you what your elders want. I'm here to teach you how to break the rules." The first lesson began in the Silent Gardens, where the Vex recruits were tasked with defending a sacred grove from unseen aggressors. They moved with the grace of dancers, their bodies weaving through the glowing flora, but their hesitation was palpable. "You're thinking too much," Kale barked, his voice cutting through the hum of the garden. "The enemy doesn't wait for you to meditate." He drew a small, razor-sharp knife from his boot, a forbidden relic on Ethel. The Vex recoiled as if he'd struck them. "This is a tool," Kale said, holding it out. "Not a sin. The sin is in how you use it." One recruit, a young Vex named Thal, stepped forward, his massive hand trembling. "We are not built for this," Thal rumbled. "You are," Kale replied, pressing the knife into Thal's palm. "You just don't know it yet." As Thal gripped the knife, Kale saw something flicker in the Vex's eyes, something ancient and hungry. The tension grew with each passing cycle. The Vex recruits began to move with a newfound urgency, their massive bodies surprisingly agile as they practiced the brutal, efficient techniques Kale had taught them. But Kale knew it wasn't enough. They needed to understand the madness of combat, the way it stripped away reason and left only instinct. "Tonight," he announced, "we break the final rule." He led them to the Temple of Whispers, a place so sacred the Vex dared not speak above a whisper. Inside, the air hummed with energy, and at its center stood a colossal statue of their first progenitor, its eyes made of solid starlight. "Your elders say this place is inviolable," Kale said, his voice echoing in the cavernous hall. "I say it's the perfect classroom." He drew his knife again and slashed at the statue's pedestal. The Vex gasped, their bodies rigid with shock. "What are you doing?" Thal roared. "I'm showing you," Kale replied, "that nothing is sacred when survival is at stake." The true test came not from Kale, but from the stars above. A fleet of rogue vessels, drawn to Ethel's energy, descended upon the temple world. The Vex elders panicked, their doctrine of nonviolence crumbling in the face of annihilation. But the recruits stood ready, their eyes fixed on Kale. "This is what I've been teaching you," he said, his voice steady. "Not how to kill, but how to choose to fight." The first volley of plasma fire struck the temple, shattering the crystalline spires. The Vex recruits moved as one, their bodies a blur of motion as they intercepted the incoming blasts with sheer force. Thal, wielding Kale's knife, charged toward the lead vessel, his roar shaking the very foundations of Ethel. The Vex had always mistaken space stations for toys, but now they understood the stakes. As the invaders retreated, leaving smoldering wreckage in their wake, Kale watched the recruits stand tall, their massive chests heaving with pride. They had broken the rules, but in doing so, they had saved their world. And in that moment, they became something more than just recruits. They became warriors.